Good morning, everybody. I've been a little bit lazy about coming on YouTube the last couple of days. I felt drained and tired, not able to bestir myself really. Although I have had half an hour here and half an hour there, just checking out what's been going on. See a lot of arguments restarting with the same old people yet again. I don't know what it is with women. We fought so long and so hard for equal rights, and yet it seems that many of us, many of you, not me, take delight in pulling other women down for the way they look, for their age, or simply because they feel you're a threat. They don't want you in a live stream conversation. I've noticed it. It hasn't happened to me because I don't go in the live streams, but I have noticed it happen, and I don't understand it. Is it insecurity on the part of these other people? Is it? I don't know. Excuse me again. But more importantly, we've got women, not least women with children, with young children, who are going on to channels such as, well, I'll say the name, the crystal meth person, the machine gun person, from whom I've had messages from bounty hunter somebody with the most vile language, as have one or two of my friends, all because a certain little trailer park lady put a link to my channel on the wall, asking for me to be attacked, I suppose. I don't know. Needs to stop. I got no interest in you people. I would cross the road rather than talk to any of you. And as far as people who are consorting with convicted pedophiles and criminals are concerned, do you realise what sort of moral danger you are putting your own children in? That's what prompted my little comment on my last video, saying that YouTube needs to have a good clean up. It really does. And go into these 30 or 40 or 50 accounts that people have, fake accounts, just used to troll people. And they're speaking about it quite openly. So Facebook surely must be able to pick it up. And I've got a friend actually who was introduced to me, who is going to see this now, what I'm saying. It really does need to be sorted out, and I hope it is being. So that's my little rant for this morning. But I would ask women, you know, to stop and think before you're attacking other women for no apparent reason other than that they're a woman, other than that they're older than you, other than that they're younger than you, maybe they're cleverer than you. It's just ridiculous. So that's all I've got to say on that subject. I do have quite a lot of content to come onto my videos, and I just can't get round to doing them. I need to literally discipline myself to sit down and use the material I have, because it's interesting, and I know that once I get started, I'm going to enjoy doing it. I don't know, some of you know, most of you probably don't, that I was an historian, and more interested really in the personal lives and cultures of people, Dickensian times and prior to that. And I have written a couple of articles that were printed locally many moons ago. I haven't done anything recently, but I've got all these very colourful memories in my mind of back-to-back housing in Birmingham. I never lived in one, but we had family who lived in one or two of them and went to visit. And there are some in Birmingham now that have been all refurbished, and you can actually go round and see how people used to live, although it's a very clinicised version of how they used to live. What I'm thinking of doing is a montage of pictures, if I can sort some out, of back-to-back housing and how people used to live in those days. It wasn't a particularly unhappy life or childhood, but there was a lot of poverty and the mortality rates were quite high. The common causes of death, particularly in children and the very elderly, were pneumonia and bronchitis from living in such damp, insanitary conditions. In fact, I'm going to read you a little of what I wrote down a long time ago. And this is a quotation from a man, an elderly, very elderly man, who used to live in one of these back-to-backs. I remember as a child sitting on the doorstep, just looking out while listening to my nan, mum and sister chattering away. For some reason in my memories, I am variously snacking on pig's feet. Now I know that to be a delicacy, one-time delicacy in Birmingham, and I remember that Alfie's mum used to send him as a young boy, he told me, I remember him telling me rather, that she used to send him as a young boy to Birmingham Bullrings Market to get pig's trotters for his dad to eat. So this man, as a young boy, snacking on pig's feet, eating herring with crunchy onion rings. It's more likely to be curry now, isn't it? Or perhaps rabbit stew, and that was a delicacy also. It wouldn't bode well for me, would it, the nutrition being vegan? From this doorstep vantage point, I also record the comings and goings of neighbours in the courtyard. The courtyard was you got the front houses, then you got the houses with a partition wall, you got the back houses, back to back. Then you've got the courthouses, where there was the lavatories, the brew houses, where they used to do the washing, all of that sort of stuff. So he watched the comings and goings of people in the courtyard, and a blind lady, always helped by another lady, her sister, as they made their way across the courtyard to the lavatory and back. an old man, their neighbour, who drank and sang and sometimes fell over. That was the memory of a very elderly man from his childhood. And the reminiscences really are of people's public life, you know, what they would do, what you would see, walking around and having a drink, falling over. And then their very private lives, you know, two elderly women helping each other over to the lavatory. Everybody knew when everybody else needed to go. And I know that from my own research, there used to be a lot of arguments cropping up about whose turn it was next to clean the lavatories and the brew houses. But I'm going to come back to that later, and I'm going to try and get a montage together of pictures if I can collect enough, and put them on like a film, like I did about the other two films that I tried the other night, because I think they were not greatly interesting, but I think they were funny and amusing. So I'll try and do that. And in the meantime, it would be nice to think that people could stop arguing for 5 minutes on here. You know, that would be quite novel. I've got my little book here. I don't know what I was going to look at. Oh, yeah, it does link in really. And it's just to say, take a walk in a woodland setting or another green area. Bring all your senses to the process. Be aware of each movement. Be aware of the continually changing sky, the mud squelching beneath your feet, and the myriad of smells as they fill your nostrils. Be present with all of these sensations and with the feelings that arise as you walk in your particular corner of nature. I think if more of us did that, the less time there'd be for all this petty arguing and nastiness, which, as I say, seems now have overflowed into very dangerous territory with a particular species of creature coming onto YouTube, acting like gangsters, and the women pandering up to them like gangsters' moles. You're not gangsters' moles, you're idiots. You need to catch hold of yourselves. Okie dokie, I'm going to finish my coffee. And as you can tell, my throat's bad again this morning. And for those talking about my croaky voice and everything, yes, I do have precancerous cells in my throat. So if you're going to have a go at me for being croaky or anything like this, ask yourselves, would you have the courage to come on YouTube during all the problems with your jaw and tooth extractions, during all the problems with your throat and the cancerous cells, precancerous cells in your throat, all the bullying that's gone on, would you have the courage to come on YouTube? I wonder. Speak to you later. Have a good day, everybody. Bye-bye.